publicista i student master studija, živi u Banja Luci i bavi se kulturološkim istraživanjima, objavljuje tekstove i članke, uglavnom istraživačke i ove teorijske, u mnogim ovim časopisima, listovima širom bivše Jugoslavije. Izvolite.
Hvala. Thank you. I will expose this research and paper in English. I wish thank you organizers for this event, for invitation, and all present here. I will talk more about this other part of remembrance, about Mr. Oblivion or forgetting. My research paper, had an objective to illuminate the processes of violent, cultural and ethnic cleansing of Banja Luka public space. And why Banja Luka? Because Banja Luka is now a political and administrative center of RS, and it used to be the military seat of RS in the time of its creation. I'm sure that similar research could be done also in Mostar, Sarajevo, Tuzla, but the Imperia would also show the street names had been changed maybe in similar patterns, but I didn't have the resources or time to do the comparative researches. My strong research belief is that comparison between Banja Luka and RS in general and Tuzla Zenica wouldn't show the same patterns of construction of culture memory, but it would prove the quite different, quite opposite political contexts in which those processes had been going on. As James Brookmeyer, from American author, would argue, the cultural memory is created by capturing the oral narrative in the memory texts and practices, like films, like books, databases, and etc. And those memory texts and practices are not just simplified and cognitive sum of remembrances. They are also mixed with the dominant social and political framework in which they are created. What does the social and political framework does to the individual remembers, to this oral narrative? They create certain types of memory narratives which knit a very fine network of desirable and more or less complex memory and culture of remembrance in one's community. Also, this social and political framework, as Brookmeyer said, is doing another thing. It is doing a mnemonic selection of what is desirable to remember or desirable to forget. And that's how we, in the end, came up, every community, every political community, end up with one, let's say, more or less coherent network of memoric narratives which try to bond this community, not just in space, but also in times. As John Dewey, American positivist, would say that cultural memory and its memory narratives are acting laterally in terms of the space and binding all the people of the community from various places of that community, and longitudinally, timely. So it is binding the people of the present and the people of the past, and to the expectance of the future of this community, it's somehow binding those people that will come in the future. that's why I choose to research the names of the streets and local communities in Banja Luka. They are very good. They are very good for research because they are all public manifestation of not just political and cultural identity, but it is manifestation of the community expectations of the future. These small texts don't stand alone. They also carry certain ethno-religious, political, historical meanings, ideological meanings, identities, and functions. They are some kind of the mini spectacles. We are consuming them every day. Also, they are often test indicators of certain political processes. In Banja Luka, they were test indicators of the very violent, very earth-shaking processes of last unfortunate war. The name of the streets, like the Empress Milica or Ferhat Pasina, are memory texts in public space which build up a network of desirable and undesirable. And they are doing so also in combination with other memorabilia, with other monuments, other political spectacles, political holidays, and other manifestations. They are not standing alone at all. And when citizens are trying to identify with the street name, with the community name, with some religious holiday that is put in the political space, they are often interpret this symbol not as a pure historic facts, but as value-oriented identifications. And that's how these memory narratives are influencing citizens to believe that the cultural memory of their city is exact right as it written in the street names. So, to be quick now, war ethno-political elite in Banja Luka had changed 1/4 out of 58 pre-war names of local community between 1992 and 1996. It was just in city center. They erased from memory around 8 of 17 names of local communities. And in suburbs it was 3 out of 9. This ethno-political elite in wartime in Banja Luka decided that there was around 250 or 53% of the pre-war street names of Banja Luka were unsuitable to continue to exist in public space. Just in 2 municipal decisions in February 1993 and March 1994, around 200 pre-war street names have been erased. And you can see this, how these processes were very massive, very artificial, very, let's say, fascistic, as you can say. These patterns of the culture, ethnically based cleansing of local community names is shown here. These are the 70 local communities in the city center. The dark blue shows the percentage of the non-Serb population that lived there according to the 1991 census. And you will see that the struggle to conquer one's cultural space, one political space, is a struggle for the city center, not for the city periphery. So the center is the ultimate goal if you want to conquer and if you want to rule in political or cultural community. So as you see, the 8 out of 17 city center local communities names were erased, and mainly mainly in those local communities, population were non-Serb. So this is the correlation that shows that the percentage of citizens who have declared themselves as Serbs as it's dropping down from the city center to the periphery. The numbers of the percentages of renamed local communities also is rising. So, I show you one criteria, it's ethnic, demographic. But other criteria was also present. It was the linguistic etymology of the word. The mainly elite mainly changed the names which contain the linguistic origin in Turkish or other Oriental languages. So the words and names like Çayre, Hiseti, Meydan, Bucak, Şehir were expelled from the public space immediately in 1992 as undesirable for the new culture memory in erection. So, what are the patterns of the changing of the street names in Banja Luka? The patterns are identified these 6 groups. It could be more or less. It was the matrix of well-known and ingrained pro-Serbian historical and political binary position on suitable and unsuitable ethno-religious identification of the streets or the personal names in the street names, unsuitable, suitable ideological identification between monarchy and right-wing and communist and left-wing, religious orthodox versus secular, irreligious values, then epic, pop, mythological, folk and essential versus lyric, civic, universal, imperial. 5. Unsuitable and suitable warriors, rebels, war events, military movements, unsuitable, suitable geography or territory. In this diagram, you will see that this in red is number of streets before the war, and this is in blue. Before the war was the blue one, and after the war. So I hope you will have opportunity to read it. This is the correlation between ethnic composition of Banja Luka and ethnic identification in street names before the war. So it was culturally constructed space of Banja Luka where things were balanced. And you will have this now. This is after the war. See? Also you will have this is showing the unsuitable, suitable, ideological, religious and pop mythological identifications. A lot of communists identifications, a lot of Bosniak Muslims identifications, Croat Catholic identifications were thrown out of the public space. And what were introduced are the Serbian modern time monarchies, the dynastic and right-wing tradition symbols, Orthodox religious symbols, pro-Serbian, pre-modern, medieval and dynastic tradition symbols, mythological, epic and folkloristic symbols, and even Czechnic and ethno-fascistic and collaborator symbols are introduced in the public space of Banja Luka. Protests were very violent. For changing the local name of local communities, they declared referendums in that local communities. For just 8 months, they provide some 11 referendums, and in 6 decisions they changed the name in 11 local communities. The same thing is with the street names. This is the numbers of the streets changed in every decision. So 93, 94 is the main area. And all this is happening during the ethnic cleansing, during the war, and war indites the fears and psychosis in the city, and during, okay. And what's the outcome of all of it? Is that now Banja Luka have below 5% of population that permanently live in Banja Luka, and that are Bosnian Catholics. Around 65,000 people of pre-war Banja Luka has been banished, and more than 200 has been murdered in their homes police station, and there was no war in Banja Luka, just to remind. one can say that though the remembrance lives in private and semi-formal space, the formal and public space of Banja Luka city is monument of absence. It's monument similar like a monument of Micha Ullmann, book burning monument in Bebelplatz in Berlin, but it differs from it. Ullmann monument in Berlin is performative one. It seeks from the public to ask why. But here, street names and other memorabilia that have been changed or erased, like mosques, like Oriental and Muslim memorabilia or Catholic memorabilia, they are telling the tale of absence, but without a reflection or possibility to reflect why. It gives you immediately a very dogmatic answer in what to trust and in what kind of space you want to live. As the Bruckmeier said, the memory text is in one given social political framework can create the archive memory narratives which meet net of cultural remembrance and memory in space and time. The more democratic and open that framework is, it would allow memory narratives to be more archived, to be less selected, less chosen, and to suffer less from ethno-religious or ideological taboos. And vice versa, if a society is keep themselves in the state of the permanent ideological ethno-political trauma, ethno-exclusivism, these memory narratives must execute significant selections of memory, and that's what is happening in the public space of Banja Luka today.
You are finished.
So that would be it. Thank you.
Žao mi je što ga prekidam, vrlo interesantno, ali žurimo i neke stvari otkrio koje se nisam znao. Čestitam na ovim podacima koji su iznijeli, ja? To je za nas novo.